I once failed an A-level exam. And while I still managed to get into uni, sometimes I look back and wonder what threw me. My shitty supermarket job, my failed driving tests, or the fact that my ex-boyfriend's mates are all pests. And while a combination of these three reasons is viable, it wouldn't be fair of me to say it was liable. In fact, the truth is much simpler than that. Up until I was 16, nobody had bothered to teach me about the world outside the confines of education. The war on terror, the London riots, police brutality, or the dangers of celebrity culture mentality. Domestic violence had been in the news, but nobody had taught us how to spot the first signs of emotional abuse or what it meant to give consent. In August 2010, my GCSEs read like an A star to B of useless information. Algebra, sound waves, sedimentary rock formation. And to this day, I know very little about APR and housing prices, as for 5 years of my life, numbers were only used as pizza slices. And all I ask for is for them to have taken my lessons on PSHE a little more seriously, as by the time I went to college, I relied on my A-level teacher for all of my knowledge, my cultural awareness. Because thanks to the amount of digressions he went on in my lessons, he was the first person I'd ever seen to explain the political spectrum and draw it on a whiteboard. To tell me the difference between the left and the right, and if I didn't know who to vote for in the general election, I should sign up to politicalcompass.org and answer their questions so I could make my own opinions. He told us the media was responsible for infiltrating gender expectations into our generation, and for homework he told us to challenge stereotypes, to highlight the preconceived differences between a bachelor and a spinster, and to continuously question what politicians were saying in Westminster. He told us to fight harder, and yet, with all of this in mind, my brain was left swimming with ways to freeze rising tuition fees and to sign a campaign that would end page 3. And while my eyes had been opened to the patriarchal paradigms, and by now I had a backlog of reasons to hate the Daily Mail, I forgot to finish reading the Canterbury Tales, and my exam was left ungradable. And yet, deep down, I know that I got more from those classes than my notebook will ever show, as for the first time in my life, I knew I could use my words to make myself heard. I knew I had a voice.